we've kind of determined how to kind of put stuff on a master page, I'm going to show you how you can create new master pages as well as apply master pages to different pages that you have down here. So again, just to reiterate why you might use a master page, if you have things that occur across the page, like the page numbers, or possibly like this color thing that's on the corners here, this is another great thing to have on your master pages, which you can see they've got it up here. You can do placeholder text, you can do placeholder text boxes and graphic boxes, which I'm not going to go into that right now because then you have to do an override of your master pages. And I don't want to get that detailed with you guys just yet, but I am going to go in here. I'm going to click on this green thing and then I'm going to do shift and click. And I'm just going to copy. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that because that would be very mean to you. I'm actually going to just go ahead. I'll just build this on here. So I'm going to go to use the rectangle tool, which is right here underneath the frame tool. I just want the shape. And I'm going to build that into my page. And so I want this to bleed off the edge. So I'm not sure why it's not showing up here, but so this is kind of like a little top header thing that we got going on. Let me tell you what the actual colors are. Oh, that's right. I'm not sure why the bleed's not showing up. I did put that on there. Is it showing up here? No, it's not. All right, so let's back up for a second, because I know I marked the bleed when we did the new document, but it's not showing up. So let's do a little problem solving here. So if I go up to layout, I'm trying to remember exactly where the bleed is, but if we can't find it, I will show you a workaround to do that. So this is margins. That's right, I did forget to put the bleed. So margins and columns here. Okay. So you can either, we can look around and probably under document presets or document setup. You can see all of this. This has some similar things in there. And here's the bleed and slug is what it's called. So we're not going to mess with the slug. And this is all connected. So in general, you want your bleed to be at least 1/4 of an inch. So that's kind of the minimum. You can make it bigger if you want to, but just do 1/4 inch. And as long as you have this set so all the settings are the same so that the lock is kind of linked there, then you don't have to fill in all of this. So I'm just going to do okay. There it is. Now we can see that. So now we can see our box, and I'm going to move it. When you have things that bleed off the page, you want them to go all the way to where the bleed is. Okay, let me get the colors out of here. So let me see what we got going on here. That is it. Oh, that's because I've got both things. So there's the green. And so I'm just going to look at my CMYK because that's what I have. And so what you can do is you can just write down either the RGB or the CMYK. So you want your C to be 75. And I've done this so many times where I just go in here 75, 5, 100, and 0. And there's other ways you can share the swatch across documents. You could do a library. So if we wanted to do, that probably would be smart. So let's do the CC library. Although this doesn't really help you because you still have to look at the what the color is because you don't have that automatically. So I can just grab this, throw it in my library, and now I've got that green and I've got that blue. And I actually have the size. So if I came back into my newsletter, I could just drag this out onto my page and select it, and that would be the exact size. Which is interesting anyway, because how big is it? Who cares? We're going to make our own thing. All right, so anyway, we've got our little box here. We're going to fill in the color. So I want, come on, buddy. I have to do my color selector down here. I don't like that you can't just use your color picker for anywhere. So because it's on my same computer, it already is filled in with the numbers. So that's 75C, 5M, 100Y, and 0K. And then I can do OK, and now that is filled in with that color. So then I'm going to slide over to this other side. I'm going to copy and paste the bar that I made, because now it's the size that I'm going to use it at for this particular document. And then I'm going to let me look at what the blue is. I'll pull it out and get the color for you. And that is C76, M53, Y10, and K0. So all I did was just double click in the color picker, put in the correct numbers. Actually, I'm going to write that down, because as soon as I click on the green, it's going to go away. 76, 53, 10, and 0. The other options you have, I mean, you can really use any of these color spaces, but I would just pick whichever one you're going to be using for your final document. I would stick to messing around with color in that space, because if you are doing a print job and you're using CMYK, you don't really want to mess with accidentally getting the wrong shade if you try to use RGB. Okay, so that's 76, 53, 10, and 0. Okay, so there's the blue. I'm just going to delete this guy. And then if we go back over to our palettes here, or to our pages, now you can see I've got these guys. I've got colors in the corner. I've got numbers at the bottom, and they should all be correct. There's 8, so that's good. You can also put, if you want to put something interesting in with your page number, because there's some places that do that, or if you want it to be centered on the page is another option for page numbering. Generally, that's where it's either going to be in the middle or to the outside edge. But you could put, since we're doing flora and fauna, we could do, like on the outside of the number, we could insert something. I think I won't do that right now for you, but you can, or you can change the color of this. Like if I wanted to do, let's say we want to do the green that we're using in the corner up here. So we're going to type in 75 tab, oops, yeah, 75, 5, oops, wrong key, and 100, and then 0 for black. And if I do OK, now I've got green text down there. So if I go to my page, now I've got kind of a fun little color thing there. So whatever you put in that is what's going to show up. All right, so let's do another master page. Let's see. Let's do a new parent page. Okay. And so that's going to give it a new prefix. So that's going to be a B. You can rename your master pages here. So you could do alternate layout or something like that. Based on parent, a parent, number of pages 2, page size, all this stuff is going to be the same. So if I base it on parent A that we've already done, that means that anything that I've put on that page will stay. If I say none and just do okay, then it's completely blank and I can just start from scratch on there. Yeah. So then if I want to have, let's say we want to have on some of these pages, we want to have like a full bleed color screen. And so maybe we want it the blue, or let's do it. This is already set on green. So let's do the green. So it's going to have a green screen behind it. And then we're going to go to our color at the top. So this is the fill, another place you can go, but I'm going to change it to a tint. Oops. Why? Hello. Why are you being a pain to me? So I'm going to do new color swatch. Let's try that. New color swatch. Process is CMYK. And you can unclick this. You can name it with the color value, or you can go green tint and rename that so that when you look at it, you can see what's going on. And we're going to add that. Oops, I didn't mean to do a copy. So now I've got 2. So if I pull this out, you are not cooperating with me. Fine. Okay. So there's always a way around it. So I'm going to go to Window and swatches or colors. Color swatches that open on my other screen. But here, so this is basically the same palette, but just downloaded. I don't know what's going on here. So now it's giving me the option. Now it'll give me a tint. So I want to do, if you're doing a tint behind an entire page like this, you really want to keep it pretty low. Probably no more than 25%. So I'm going to do that. Whoops, I don't want another rectangle. Okay, so now we've got a little bit something different on this layout. And so say I want pages 4 and 5 to have this alternate layout. So I'm just going to grab, actually I need to do shift and click because I want it to be on both pages. You have to select both the pages. If you just select the one side and drag it, it'll just do it on one side of your facing pages. So I want to select both, and then I'm going to drag the whole thing, and I'm going to take it down here to my pages 4 and 5. And it still didn't do what I wanted. So now I'm going to drag again and go on. Now I just put a new set in there. No, obey me. I just want it to be on this other side. So now I have applied the B alternate layout to pages 4 and 5. All right. Yeah, that's so awesome. All right, so let's go back and look at this. I'm totally not doing what they want me to, but who cares? And so let's look at putting in text. So we're going to go to this main page. And so we've got titles that go in here. So you just go to your type tool. And the nice thing about having things on master pages is that you're not going to disturb them. So what was it? Egrets and herons? No, I'm just making that up. Oh, it is. Egrets and herons. And we want that white. So I'm going to change I'm just going to put it as paper, and I'm going to change my font to Myriad, which I believe that was the other one. So if I go up in here, up to this text bar at the top, sorry, I might be going too fast for you guys here. Just doing these things. We go up to the text box, and you can do the drop down. You can filter and stuff. This is very similar to both Photoshop and Illustrator. And I'm just going to type in Myriad. So I'm going to do Myriad condensed. Except I think I want it as a bold. I'm going to do bold condensed. And I'm going to change the size. So that's up here as well. So I can just kind of scroll down. Egrets and herons. There you go. Perfect. And then there's some text in here and some images. And so all those are in the folder. And so let's go. We're going to create a text box. And so this is a pretty common way of designing by using columns and grids and stuff like that. And that's something we'll talk about later on. You can go to edit and then place and link. You can, I think that's probably the best option. We'll do that. Edit. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Am I on the right page? Yes, I am. I'm going to do Command D. Not on the text thing. There we go. So that is the place command. Command or Control D. So let me see if I do this stuff just on the key commands, and so sometimes I forget where they are up here. So it's under File and then Place. So it's similar to what you do in the other programs that we've used. So Command or Control D or Place under File. Okay, and so then I'm going to go to, where did all my files go? There they are. Okay, so mine are in class documents, lesson 3, that's what we're doing. Links, I'm going to do article text 1 and open, see if that will work. So then now I have linked this article into this document. And now I'm going to use the rectangle frame tool over here, and you can see you can do this with different sizes, but this is how you place a graphic. So I'm going to drag this out to fit in my column, and you use the same command. You do Command or Control D, and then let's see which graphic. I think it's this one, and we're going to click that, put that little bird in there. And so then if you double click in there, you can see you get this brown kind of line around it. That means you're inside the frame. So you're just affecting the actual photo in there. So my frame comes all the way out here. I'm just gonna kind of tighten that up and make sure my bird is up at the top. And so if we're gonna add the other images down here, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna create a box with a graphics box, and then do Command or Control D or Place under File. And I don't remember which graphic is there, but we'll say it's the eggs. Okay, and so this is kind of big. And so you can go up to the top where you go to Object, and then you scroll down to Fitting, and you've got all these different ways to fit. And you're going to forget which one it is. They do different things. So I'm going to hit Fill Frame Proportionally. That's pretty common. And so it's going to change, it's going to make that image fit in a proportional way inside my frame. Okay. Let's see, what else do I want to tell you? I want to tell you about guides, very similar to Photoshop and Illustrator. With your ruler showing, you can click in the ruler and drag, and you can pull down your different things from up there. And I believe if you drop it up here and then pull it down, oops, come on, baby. Nope, it still doesn't do that. It used to be you could drop it here outside of the document and it would go all the way across. And now they've changed it to some other tricky thing. So this is another way, like if your bleed doesn't show up, or if you forgot to put it on, and can't remember where that bleed thing is, all you have to do is like drag these out and mark 1/4 of an inch out from the outside edge of your file. Okay. So you can do all that by hand too. Not a big deal. You can just delete it by dragging it back off. Super easy. We did page numbering, renaming master pages. So if you ever want to like rename this parent one, if you just right click in there, I believe. Page attributes. Come on. Insert pages. Why are you not letting me do this? Panel options. I'm sure there's a way. I'll find it for you guys and I'll let you know if it's important to you. And we did applying master pages. These are super cool. I love this, like how flexible it is. Because if I decide, you know what, I would really like this page to be up here instead, I can drag page 4 up in front of page 3. So I'm like kind of right on that spine and drop it. And now I have switched those pages. Of course, now this full page greenery looks like it's shown up there. So it's all behind there. So I can come back here. I can go back up to my my parent one. I can drag it on here. It doesn't want to. I have to drag it on there. I know why it did that, because I've got one. So if you wanted to do something like that and you don't like this, if you make this into a two-sided thing. So if I switch this so that it only takes up half the page, and I can even do copy and paste and put it, so I have two separate things, then this will work. I could put green on this side and white on. I don't know why it's working there, because I just switched it, I guess. So that's how you can, if you have anything that goes all the way across both layouts in your master pages, it's going to go across both pages in your main pages, even if you have different masters on that. So it can get a little bit messy. So just keep that in mind, kind of keep those things separated. Yes, and you can also delete pages from here. So if you just click on one, delete. Nope, doesn't want to do it that way. So drag down to the trash can. Of course, then you have a problem here because you need that last page. You can insert pages, move pages, duplicate spreads, delete spreads, like all of that is in this flyout menu up here too. So if I want to insert pages, I want to insert one page after whatever page in here, and I just say okay. And so now it's all good again. And you can add multiple pages to it. So, and then the last thing I want to show you is when you have a full bleed like this, in order to really see what's happening on your page, you need to go up to the view and go to screen mode and go to preview. And so it will temporarily get rid of all of your extra things. It'll show you how your bleed's going to show up and what that all looks like together. So it's a good way to kind of check and make sure that your design is actually working out the way that you thought it was, and that the bleed is going to cut off in the correct spot. Because we don't want, I guess it's not a big deal with these guys, but like if we had our bird over here and I just grabbed the inside of that. Did you see that? That was silly. There we go. So if I wanted him over here, but I put him too close to the edge, like that's not what I want my bleed to look like. And so then that kind of helps me know, oh, you need to fix that. But you always want to make sure whatever image you have to, if you're doing a bleed, it has to be able to bleed off. And you use this as partly a way to crop this image. So if the picture looks weird with that much of a bleed, then you need to figure out a different way to do that, because you cannot skimp on this bleed if that is what you want. If you're having a problem with your image, then just don't bleed it. That's the answer to that question. So, all right. I think we're good. I think that's all that I wanted to go over for this particular file. So hopefully that's not too long, and then we'll get a little bit into more kind of the rules of layout and stuff like that, that are particular to doing kind of these long format text stuff.